The Galactic Academy station orbited a dying red dwarf, its metallic corridors humming with the babel of 1,000 alien tongues. Here the children of the Confederation learned to coexist, or at least that was the theory. Eleanor had discovered the reality was far more brutal. She pressed herself against the cool bulkhead of Corridor 7 Delta, her cyan skin glistening with what observers might mistake for moisture, but was actually the desperate film her body produced when experiencing severe dehydration. Her kind, the Aquarians of Theta 9, required water intake every 4 hours. It had been almost 7. "Please," Eleanor whispered in perfectly accented galactic standard, her voice cracking like dried riverbed. "Just a small portion. I can pay you back tomorrow." Vexthar, a hulking Chronosian with scales like burnished copper and eyes like cold stars, held the water dispenser unit just out of reach. His cronies, a silicate named Razor and a methane breather called Hiss, formed a semicircle blocking any escape route. "Pay us back?" Vexthar's laugh was like grinding gears. "Your kind conquered 6 systems before the Confederation stopped you. You think we forget? You think we forgive?" He tilted the dispenser, letting a single drop fall. It splashed against the floor, and Eleanor's eyes followed it with naked longing. This had been her reality for 3 weeks. Ever since she'd scored higher than Vexthar on the quantum mechanics examination, the harassment had escalated from verbal taunts to this systematic deprivation. The Aquarian delegation consisted of only 5 students in the entire academy, and the others were in different sectors. No one witnessed these corridor encounters. No one helped. Eleanor's legs trembled. The Academy's climate control, optimized for the majority carbon-based oxygen breathers, was particularly dry. Her secondary respiratory organs were beginning to seal shut, a biological defense mechanism that would eventually put her into a coma if she didn't hydrate soon. "I didn't conquer anyone," Eleanor managed, her voice barely audible. "That was 300 years ago. I wasn't even born." "Your people's crimes don't expire," Razor interjected, his crystalline face refracting the corridor lights into sharp angles. "Maybe if you beg better, we'll reconsider." Eleanor felt something inside her crack, not physically, but something deeper. Pride, perhaps, or hope. She was about to lower herself to her knees when a new voice cut through the corridor. "That's enough." All heads turned. Jasper stood at the corridor junction, his human frame looking almost comically small next to the assembled bullies. Humans were relatively new to the Confederation, only 50 years since first contact, and still something of a curiosity. Most species considered them unremarkable. Average strength, average speed, average intelligence. They excelled at nothing except perhaps stubbornness. Jasper was typical of his kind. Brown hair, brown eyes, medium build. He wore the standard Academy jumpsuit and carried his personal hydration pack, a requirement for his species' notorious need for constant water intake. "Walk away, human," Vexthar growled. "This doesn't concern you." "Actually," Jasper said, his voice calm but firm, "it concerns anyone with basic decency." He walked forward, not hurrying, not threatening, just moving with quiet purpose. "Eleanor, right? We're in advanced stellar cartography together." Eleanor stared at him, confusion mixing with her desperation. They'd never spoken before. She'd noticed him, quiet, studious, always sitting in the back, but they'd never interacted. Jasper stopped a meter from Vexthar, looking up at the Chronosian who stood nearly twice his height. "She needs water." "You have water." "The Academy provides unlimited water rations." "What exactly is the problem here?" "The problem," Vexthar leaned down, his breath hot and smelling of sulfur, "is that her kind killed my grandfather in the Aquarian Wars. 300 years means nothing to a Chronosian. We have long memories, and humans have short fuses," Jasper replied evenly. He unclipped his hydration pack and extended it toward Eleanor. "Here, drink." The corridor fell silent except for the station's ambient hum. Eleanor stared at the offered pack, then at Jasper, then at Vexthar, whose face had darkened to a dangerous crimson. "You dare," Vexthar began. "I dare," Jasper interrupted, still holding out the pack. "Eleanor, drink. Please." Something in his voice, the simple kindness, the lack of hesitation, broke through Eleanor's paralysis. She reached out with trembling fingers and took the pack. The first sip was heaven, cool and pure, flooding her system with relief. She drank deeply, feeling her respiratory organs relax, her skin beginning to return to its natural luminescence. Vexthar's hand shot out, grabbing Jasper by the collar. "Do you know what you've just done, human? You've made an enemy." Jasper met his gaze without flinching. "No, I've made a choice. There's a difference." He paused, then added, "And for what it's worth, my species has its own history of atrocities. We nearly destroyed our own planet through wars, genocide, environmental catastrophe. We carry those scars. But we learned something. The sins of our ancestors don't have to become our legacy. We can choose to be better." "Philosophical garbage," Hiss wheezed through his methane mask. "Maybe," Jasper acknowledged. "But here's something practical. If you touch me, if you continue harassing Eleanor, I report this to Administrator Kelzoth. Every species here has protection under Confederation law, including Aquarians, including humans." Vexthar's grip tightened for a moment, then released. "You've just tied yourself to her fate, human. Remember that." The three bullies departed, their footsteps echoing down the corridor. Eleanor finished drinking and handed the pack back to Jasper, her hand still shaking. "Thank you," she whispered. "You didn't have to—" "Yes, I did," Jasper said simply. "That's what humans do. We see injustice, we act. It's probably why we've survived as long as we have, despite being pretty average at everything else." Eleanor felt something warm bloom in her chest. Gratitude, certainly, but also something more. Hope, perhaps. The first genuine hope she'd felt since arriving at the academy. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "You don't even know me." Jasper smiled, a peculiarly human expression that somehow conveyed both sadness and optimism. "I know enough. I know you work hard. I know you don't deserve this. And I know that every civilization, every species deserves a chance to be judged by who they are, not who their ancestors were." He paused. "Besides, we humans have a saying. No one fights alone, not anymore. Not while I'm around." As they walked together toward the cafeteria, where Jasper insisted Eleanor get more water and some food, she realized something profound. The galaxy was full of species stronger than humans, smarter than humans, more advanced than humans. But perhaps humanity's true strength lay not in any single exceptional trait, but in their stubborn, illogical, beautiful refusal to look away from suffering. In that moment, Eleanor understood why the Confederation had welcomed humanity, despite their unremarkable abilities. Sometimes the most powerful thing in the universe wasn't technology or strength. Sometimes it was simply the courage to share your water,